What is up, guys, gals, and all you awesome gamers out there? It is I, Josh, and welcome once again to a Free Gamers and a Mic podcast. And as usual, we've got my awesome compatriots, Tom. Say hello, Tom.
Hi.
Enthusiastic, that's what we want. And then finally, the one, the only. Tom doesn't get this giant amp up, but Adam does. It's Adam. Say hello, Adam.
And I'm apparently
You've
better than
ruined
Tom
it.
because I get more.
You ruined it in the amp up as well. You're like, Adam's one. It's Adam. You ruined the surprise.
That's not. That is the.
Who else was it going to be, Tom?
That was the joke.
You're a joke.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, dear.
Just
but
because you
still,
didn't get amp up.
Yeah, at least you're just jealous. That's it. Favoritism. Maybe you should suck
True.
dick more often.
I've got an idea.
Wow.
Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Anyway, we're on to the next episode with some awesome gameplay of... Come on, can someone guess? What's going to be some of the gameplay that we're going to be showing today?
Is it MGO?
It is indeed MGO, and it's probably some really bad footage as well, because the entire... Would you class it as an expansion? Because it's not really a game, is it? It's more of an expansion to Phantom Pain. I'd say expansion. It's rubbish! And there you go. And so, first things first... Wait, Tom, have you actually played this yet? Or is it just me that's played it?
No, I've downloaded it. I took one look at it and I was like,
Nah.
little day trip to MGO. We can all go as tourists.
Oh my god, here we go again. But it is such a disappointment. I mean, has anyone actually played Metal Gear Solid 4's? Was that called MGO as well? Did anyone play that?
I briefly played the MGS4 one. I played more of MGS3 online.
Yeah.
Back when Subsistence was out, which was the re-release of MGS3 with the online play on the PS2. And that was good fun, but then again at the time we didn't have the advances in technology that we have now, and from what I hear, it's pretty much the same thing.
It's kind of that thing where everyone was doing like really awesome multiplayer games, and then Konami comes along with their like Dark Age multiplayer add-on for Metal Gear Solid 4. It had horrible servers. The entire kind of like trying to put, say, the single player like combat into a multiplayer thing was like a really bad idea because it just doesn't work. And it's the same thing with the new one, but it's like, why have they done that again when nobody liked it the first time? You know, it's just still clunky and I mean, I just cannot see people sticking with it, especially with all these with Battlefront coming out and Black Ops 3 and such. You know, it's like it's such a disaster for a multiplayer add-on, as well as having say GTA 5's multiplayer and things. You know, so many good ones, and this thing has no kind of quality to it that makes you go, you know what, I could play this for a while over one of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as GTA, where you had your single player campaign and then few weeks afterwards the launch of the online one. I'm still playing GTA Online and still having a blast with it 2 years later. I've had MGO downloaded for the last couple of days, and I've had an ample amount of time to give it a go, and every time I look at it I just go, ah.
I mean, it's one of those things too of did you enjoy, was it Subsistence, Metal Gear Solid 3's online multiplayer?
Yeah, well, yes and no. It was good for what it was at the time.
Yeah.
But once again, even back then, got bored of it very quickly. What was I playing back then? So PS2 Online, so I was going back to SOCOM US Navy SEALs 2.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Did
it was varied.
Did that original one actually have the optic camo in the multiplayer?
No.
Because this one does. This one actually lets you use optic camouflage in the multiplayer for free. There's no kind of thing where you have to go to a certain level to unlock it or anything. You can get that from the get-go, and it's literally just everybody running around meleeing each other and then doing the Fulton, and that's it. You got some people going, I could maybe use my gun, but then everyone is literally just swapping each other in the face and then strapping a balloon to your ass. That is literally MGO.
I've got to say, that actually sounds like a whole lot of shit.
You got me there. It is not good. It just frustrates me because it's one of those things where you remember when the original trailer it showed Big Boss with his team of soldiers, and then they're gonna break in and fight Ocelot and his little team of soldiers, and they had the robots and everything like that. It was a really cool reveal, but it doesn't have that to it. You know, it's like, it's literally you get dropped into some random part of the open world map, and then you're just kind of running around and clashing each other with 5-on-5. It's just...
It would have been much better if they made it objective based, or even if they did like an FOB mission style thing, but have like a team having to patrol and defend, and then you've got the infiltration team as well, or having to extract hostages or things. Not just bang bang, I'm gonna shoot you, look at you.
Well, because you do have 3 modes in it. So basically, you have one called Bounty Hunter. Adam, have you fallen asleep?
What?
Right, so you have 3 modes. You have Bounty Hunter, which is basically just team deathmatch, where everyone shoots each other, but then you build up like a bounty ticket system on top of your own character, and then when someone knocks you out or Fultons you, that is how you score, from what I believe. It's okay, it's still a little bit boring, but it gets over just so fast, which is one of the main like drawbacks to it. And then the second one is basically just capture and hold areas, and because it's just such a small population for each team, like as I said, 5-on-5, and you've got 3 objectives to hold, it means that you've generally got 2 people holding like 1 or 2, and then you've got that 1 by itself, so the enemy team always has a chance to win all the time. And so it's just so frustrating that there's just not enough players to kind of hold it. You know how Battlefield has that whole thing where it was like 12 players per team, and so you always had everyone covering all bases. You don't have that in this. And then the final one is literally kind of like Splinter Cell's like Spies versus Mercs, where one team all have optic camouflage and tranquilizer guns, and the other team have soldiers but machine guns, and then they have to try and sneak in, take the objective, and go back to spawn. But it's this annoying thing that I found out while playing it, is that if one of your teammates gets spotted, everyone gets decloaked, which is a giant pain.
That sucks. So what?
It does have that thing of, it'd be really cool if there was loads of teamwork to it, but because no one is using like mics and stuff, it's just so frustrating. It's one of those things where it means that if one person gets spotted, everyone else just basically loses because the other team have guns and they will kill you in 3 shots. You know?
So as we've discovered, teamwork in Metal Gear just doesn't work. It'd be better if it stayed as a 1-on-1.
Yeah, but you'd think it would be a really good teamworking game because one of the main things about it is stealth, but it's failed at that.
Wait, how? Stealth isn't really a team thing, though.
It can be, though.
Think about what it can be in a certain I suppose going back on co-op, it can, but on a big team game, I don't think there's too many variables. It just doesn't work.
It works really well for Splinter Cell, though.
Yeah, but that's Splinter Cell. That was the co-op side missions, which was like 2 people, or in fact, it's very small numbers. So if you go back to things like Pandora Tomorrow, which was the first one with the multiplayer, you had 2 teams of 2. Mm-hmm. You had and it was balanced. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You had the infiltration team in 3rd person using those abilities, and then you had the mercenary team who were defending or hunting down the infiltration team, and they were in 1st person. So completely different perspective, and it was all the abilities were balanced across.
Yeah.
This just sounds like an absolute complete kerfuffle of a mess, with invisible people trying to hit eich other, and then...
That's literally it. I've actually got some footage of that, which is just... It was one of those things where I tried doing the optic camo thing and then running at someone, trying to punch them in the face. It was literally just watching an invisible person fall on the floor, and you're like, oh, okay. You're not going to like decloak so that my team know where you are and stuff like that, or it's just... It was literally just a bunch of ghosts punching each other.
Wow,
that's what I'm basically trying to say.
That sounds thrilling.
But it's one of those things where when they mentioned that there was all these issues at Konami with how the staff have been treated and stuff, you can kind of feel it when playing this, because you've got the main products, you've got the single player, which a lot of the team will have focused on, but then you've got MGO, and it just feels like maybe a guy or 2 like left with it and said, right, try and make some kind of multiplayer out of our assets. And I think the only kind of like unique thing about it is that they've got a logo for each team, which is Team Liquid and Team Solid, and that's it. That is the only unique thing about MGO from what I've seen. Everything else is like template, you know?
Where's Team Gas? Like, I want to see Team Gas, Liquid, and Solid. I want to see...
There was no Gas Snake!
Yeah, I want to see H2O in all of its variables here.
But yeah, it sucks. I highly don't recommend it. So stay away from it. Continue playing all of your other multiplayer games. I mean, what is a game that is kind of like MGO but is better? Can anyone think of a good one?
GTA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Do
that's
you want
not.
me to slap you?
Okay, so I was thinking more as far as the
Gangsters
structure.
cannot go invisible, no matter how cool they
Yeah,
are.
of course you can.
Play Conviction Spies vs. Max. That was pretty good.
Oh, that was badass.
Splinter Cell Conviction Spies vs. Max was sick.
I think basically Splinter Cell just does it better.
Yeah, just you don't know how
We'll just go
good
Splinter
it is for me to hear that Metal Gear Phantom Pain sucks.
Well,
Makes me feel good for not buying it. And
it's not
everyone's like,
really.
but you're missing out, man. Metal Gear is not a game; it's an experience.
Yeah.
Hits you right in the heart, man. And everyone's like, actually, Phantom Pain's kind of shit. And I'm like, way ahead of you. Don't you worry.
You're right. It is an experience. It's not just a game. It's an experience of Konami turning around, opening up my skull, and sticking their dick in it and rubbing it around a few times.
There you go. Exactly.
And just
that.
removing all the good stuff
Why
that
did I
loved
visualize
about the
that?
canon.
Oh my god!
Just
why did I visualize
the
that?
canon of the series and everything else. Like
All
that,
I
and
know
so
about
much
MGO
has changed.
is the microtransactions that they've added.
Yeah, horse armor, baby.
No, not the horse armor, the FOB one. That they
Oh,
added.
you mean the base insurance?
Yes. What kind
know
of
what,
bullshit is that?
I've not even looked at that menu, to be honest. There's no need to. You get enough resources in the game.
No,
that it really
but
doesn't
the
matter.
base insurance is basically anything that gets destroyed, staff, or
yeah.
anything is just rebought immediately for free. It's just free compensation. Anything that gets broken in your FOB is just rebuilt straight away.
Well, no one's going to do that. So in 2 years' time, when no one's playing it anymore,
Yeah, but
people are
it's
just going
still
to
a
walk into barren
shitty thing
bases.
to ask for.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
I mean, the one thing that they're not revealing is, well, no one seems to have looked up on yet, is how much it costs. You do need to use mother base coins, which are available on Xbox Live's Marketplace and obviously PSN as well. And from what I remember, I think the lowest one you can get is like 59 pence, but then you got like £7 and then like 50 quid. Kind of like with GTA's shark cards, I think they're called. Where they're like all in-game currency and
Yeah.
stuff. But how much it actually costs, I'm not too sure, but it still is cheeky as shit. You know? I
Yeah.
mean, does that mean it kind of basically copies your staff and all your stuff before it got nicked, and then you just get it back? Is that what they're... Oh,
Yeah.
no, wait.
Maybe it gives you a cloning facility.
I think
don't
from
know.
what I read, it's actually coming back to me a little bit more, is that you just get your GMP back. So it's kind of like you're getting money... You're just getting crap credit currency.
Yeah, which you could earn back in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it doesn't sound worth it at all. It's like if they're not going to give you your soldiers back and stuff, and you're only going to get in-game credits, then what's the point?
Now, speaking of adding microtransactions to stuff, have you seen which game is adding microtransactions next week in its update?
Oh wait. No, I know what you're talking about, but it's like on the tip of my tongue.
Definitely Destiny.
It's
Yes!
Destiny.
Yes, Destiny. But it's only cosmetics though.
Which is fine.
I'm entirely okay
for
with
the
cosmetics.
most part.
It depends
I-
if they're horribly overpriced. I'm not going to buy any, but that's still a shitty thing to do. Like
It's just ghosts.
Yeah,
it's just
it-
ghost
it-
skins.
No, it's also emotes as well. So
But who
dance
uses
moves and stuff
that?
like that.
Nobody uses those anyway, apart from like when
Yeah.
you beat a boss.
And I think the problem of it all is just that I don't mind cosmetic DLC. No problem with that if it's a free game. The fact that I've paid full price for this, and a lot of
Yeah.
people have paid
It's a bit
and then
annoying.
bought the DLC and everything else, and they're like, oh, by the way, there's this little bit of extra stuff. It's about 50 kilobytes of file changes. We just swapped out the colours on it, but we'd like you to pay us for it.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
It's kind of like with those Japanese fighting games where they'll sell you the color schemes for your
Oh no,
characters.
let's not even talk about Dead or Alive.
And in a lot of
Jeez.
cases, it's kind of like there's a benefit to being good at the game and playing the game, and that is like you can always tell in games that are online experiences where you gotta get gear and stuff. You can always tell that guy's high level because look how cool he looks.
Yeah,
But now it could be like, hold on, there's this really low level person rocking around in really awesome looking gear.
doing
and
the Cabbage Patch.
Yeah, and it makes the people who really work for that gear and have played hard to get it kind of feel a bit shit because they're like, well, I look cool, but so does he. The difference is
That-
I've put in tens of hours and he's put in literally 5.
They give you.
That's happened with Elder Scrolls Online.
Yep, and it's such a shame because it deters experienced players, I think.
It's funny too because they actually give you a free emote with the Taken King, and it's actually just the point emote where you just basically point at somebody, but you have that for free anyway. So the first one that you get isn't really a free one anyway. It's
No, the first one you get is the one that's been in the game the last
it's,
year.
It's literally a placeholder, so you can point twice basically. You can press left on the D-pad to point, and then up on the D-pad to point. Which I always thought, you were giving us something good. It's like, all you've done is give us the ability to point again. Thanks! Point combo. I'm gonna keep poking you. Do you feel it?
I thought you were fapping under the desk.
I thought he was.
I'm poking. I'm
gone-
poking immensely.
I honestly thought you'd gone full Mel Gibson on us then.
No. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. I mean, this is one thing that I noticed though, is that Adam, I'm gonna call you out a little bit, is that you purchased the skin pack for Rocket League. I noticed.
I did.
And so, I mean, what's the reason behind that, baby?
Because I've got an addiction. Why do people buy cigarettes, you know? But at the end of the day, or you could just vape like Tom, and you can totally hear him vaping in every podcast. He's like, but the pop filter makes it so you can't hear it. We can hear you vaping, Tom. Okay? You're not
You
fooling
didn't hear
anyone.
that. You didn't hear that.
Yes, we did. You only didn't hear it because I was talking. No, but I bought that because, again, I don't have a problem with cosmetic DLC. Because that was entirely cosmetic. Because, well, all the cars are cosmetic because there's no actual performance difference in them. But
And
it
also,
was
I
like
suppose.
$270 or something. Like,
That's
my
still a bit,
lunch
though.
today cost more than that.
Oh yeah, you mentioned, I think it was in your video, you said, it's the same as a packaged sandwich.
Yeah, basically. Chicken
Oh, we're not
salad.
bringing Subway into this again.
Oh, I had a
Subway.
Subway yesterday. It was really good.
Piss off.
They had like mayo and chicken.
Subway's
and
so
lettuce.
good, Tom.
It's so yummy. And the one thing that annoys me about Subway is that they've actually ended up making the cup smaller. So now a medium cup is like a small cup.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway,
Anyway, back to.
don't get me started on Subway. I love Subway.
I have been known to buy the occasional skin and things like that, but it's
Yeah.
usually for either a game I've not actually spent a lot on, something that's free, or something that I want to help support the developers
Yeah.
because of what they've done, what they're doing, and things like that. Activision, I couldn't care less.
Yeah, Activision can suck a
I don't want to
dick.
give them more money.
Yeah.
Like I've given them enough money to go off and develop the next part of Destiny, which I'll end up having to pay for anyway.
Actually, they're actually going to be making expansions free now.
I should fucking hope so. They're charging for skins.
In which case, they're going to turn around and start charging for everything else.
So, well, from what they've said, it doesn't. It's one of those things where they've said that they're going to make more missions in the future for free, but if they'll make more expansion packs, nobody knows. So we don't know if the expansion packs are going to be these free bits, or if it's just going to be little on and off free missions and things. So it's completely up in the air at the moment, but it's still one of those exciting things where maybe they realize, oh, we've kind of like screwed everybody over. No, half the people can't play Dark Below, and the other half are. So how do we keep everybody together? Maybe like there was another game that did that as well, where they were like, well, we're going to be bringing out loads of expansions out, but we don't want to end up alienating half our audience, which is what a lot of developers kind of do now, which is good.
Unless if you're Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go, here you go, here's all these massive updates. You bought the game, have it.
Yeah.
Have it. If you want to, if you want to buy buy in-game currency to buy vehicles and stuff, that's fine. You can earn it on your own. Otherwise, here's some missions, here's some heists, eventually here's some heists. You know, it's all these extra vehicles and new things, new skins, new clothes and stuff. That's done right.
And look at The Witcher 3. I mean, that game has literally like people have like, oh, I've played it for 200 hours and I still haven't finished it. And then they're like, here's a huge update for free, and it's like, thank you.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, by the way, guys, we've just updated it. There's a new game plus. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, don't worry, that's on us. And Activision is like, oh my god, skins there. Look how delicious they are.
We've got to have money.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that thing as well of with kind of like Destiny's expansion packs that say with maps for multiplayer. I mean, Activision are a giant criminal when it comes to selling, map packs separately and things. One developer that did really well at this was Sony's Guerrilla Games with Killzone Shadowfall, where they basically gave the entire community free maps, so then they could all stay together as one unit, which is really cool. And then there's that thing of Activision is still doing it. Like Advanced Warfare, I think, has like 3 to 4 map packs, and they're like 11 quid each, which is just nuts. And I mean, it's one of those annoying things too, where I do not play the multiplayer of Advanced Warfare, but I love the zombies, so I'm actually having to pay like 11 to 12 pounds for a map for zombies.
The prices of those things are fucking ridiculous.
But that's how they get you, because they know that you really want to play those modes and things. So they shove it all into one thing, but at the same time you're actually paying for something that you don't really want anyway. So they could just separate it.
When it comes to like Advanced Warfare, Sledgehammer have kind of already got you because you bought a derivative title.
But I mean, is Sledgehammer
Battlefield is the same with we've got this new map pack out, and then suddenly you're in the queue to go into random map, and it comes up going, "Oh, you don't have this. You're out of the queue, mate."
And they got to wait in another queue. It's like you should probably exclude the shit that I don't have. But
it was kind of weird though, because they recently just released a free map pack expansion for Battlefield 4, when I'm sure every single one before that has been paid for. So like, they gave one for free. It was like, well, why?
EA have been doing well to turn things around the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Compared to how they were before, and they're no longer the biggest evil. Let's face it, I don't mind using Origin these days. I do have a problem with using Uplay.
Yeah.
Oh, we already know that from playing Rainbow Six together.
Didn't EA win like worst
twice
company like twice? Yeah, I think Ubisoft. I just went full
Ubisoft.
Sean Connery there. Tennis, anyone? No, but seriously, Ubisoft I think should maybe take the throne for a bit because they're kind of dickheads.
Yeah, we'll split up the crown between Activision and Ubisoft.
Oh no, I think Ubisoft's worse.
I'd say Ubisoft's worse.
Yeah. Activision's terrible.
EA have done some really good stuff recently. What the hell was that?
In fact, no, wait.
Was that a motorized cow?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't round my way.
It's in the countryside, everything's motorized, even our cows.
Just a cow on a ped.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think Activision's worse than Ubisoft. Warner Bros. Are pretty shit.
Oh yeah, Warner Bros. I mean, that was the funny thing is that when Arkham Asylum stuff came out, everyone loved Warner Bros. But then Warner Bros.
Yeah, because they made a good game, and then Arkham Knight's like a steaming pile of horse shit.
Especially with their not the multiplayer, but with their DLC. They kind of went, oh, that thing that people did 5 years ago, we could try this now and completely crap on everybody, and nobody likes them now. It's like, don't you see what's happened? You completely screwed up.
Do you know what was amazing? I was reading through some gaming news today, and it was like, the Arkham Knight release for PC finally narrowed to the end of October, and I'm like, you know what? I completely forgot that was even a fucking thing. I now give no shits about that game because you've left it so long that I completely forgot you even forgot to release it on PC.
That's going to cost them so much money.
And no one's going to buy it now. Anyone who wants to play it's played it.
Yeah. Or watched it on YouTube.
So you know what, Warner Bros., I hope you waste your money. And I hope your family go hungry.
Which is a shame, because Mortal Kombat X, for the most part, was supposed to be really good. And so
apart from the release, the fact that they released it and it was like, oh, by the way, we forgot some characters for certain people. Some people just weren't getting characters. Some people weren't getting any characters.
Then again, though, they kind of piss people off as well with their whole DLC thing too. Like, I think we mentioned this before, where you could buy fatalities.
Yeah. And like the
easy
Jason
ones.
and the Predator ones were shit. And
that's for people who didn't want to do all the button combos. You could just press one button if you bought the.
But you could do that in the game before that, which is something that I think I mentioned as well. Was that you could actually do that in Mortal Kombat 9 for
I
free.
don't remember being able. Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant that you had to buy it. I was like, no.
It's just
I think you just pressed R2 and you could just do the fatality, which is great.
Yeah,
Yay!
great for pussies.
Great for people who have no skill, though.
Nibs.
You can't even combo though. No, I think we need some man to just stand outside the Warner Brothers studio, and every time the like CEO or the operating officer walks out, just be like, "No PC version. That's not for you. Give it to someone else, please." For
Apart
God's
from Far
sake.
Cry, which has generally been fine.
Nah, see, Far Cry's performance was shite for me, and
I
there was a
don't
lot
know
of
anything about
lot
Far
of snagging for some people.
See, Far Cry 3 and Blood Dragon 1 and 2
Blood Dragon was
have been
okay,
fine.
but Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 were all really bad. All? There's only two. Were
Far
both.
Cry 4's ending did not live up to what you had to go through to get there.
Yeah, literally,
Because you
I say that
couldn't,
to anyone.
you couldn't
Everyone's-
care less about the villain by the end of it, because
Yeah.
he turns up at the beginning and shows up at the end,
Yeah, it
and
could've
by
been
the end
so
it's
good.
like, well, I could kill him, but then again, no, I'm just gonna let him walk because he's not actually done anything wrong to me.
Vash
Yeah.
was so good, and then Pagan Min's just so bad.
Which is
I think
weird
he would've
because-
been better.
No,
had
I
he
don't.
shown
I
up
don't
more.
think he was bad. He was just really
Irrelevant.
underutilized.
Yeah,
it's just the rest of the
underused.
characters that were shit.
And the fact
apart
that's
from
like,
apart from the guy who was the African warlord who was saying he was on like a mission from God and he was trying to get you to
He
get
was
blood
good.
diamonds for him.
Mm.
That was great.
but like, and it was, the story was just a little bit like lackluster.
Yeah.
It was like they clearly tried to like amp things up and make you feel kind of like feel the drama at some points. They're like, "Oh my god, you're just about to kill Pagan Min." Nah, lol, it's a stunt double. What? You're telling me that he's got people that look exactly like him, and the guy comes over the mic and he's like, "Yeah, I made him have surgery." You expect me to believe this shit? You just wanted me to get excited thinking I was killing the main villain. It's
See, that's-
such bullshit.
Something that's awesome though is that if you played Far Cry 4 and you did those little side story missions where you kind of went into a
That was really cool when you
Trial
went
thing.
into the
Yeah, where you went into and you had the tiger.
Shangri-La.
yeah,
That
the Shangri-La
was
missions were
awesome, and you
fantastic.
had like the bow that shot like 5 arrows, and why
That was
couldn't
great.
that
You
have
had
been the game?
Well,
you had
this is the
you had
thing.
one mandatory mission,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh yeah, by the way, you can do like all these other ones, or you can just leave it, because it doesn't mean anything to the story. It's just a drug trip.
And
Now,
it was annoying because they were some of the best missions.
So this is the thing. Now, you may get excited by this, but they have just announced, just like Blood Dragon, a completely brand new side story
Standalone.
DLC called Far
This.
Cry Primal, based in the
10,000 BC.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you actually play kind of like with Shangri-La, where you had the tie. You actually have a saber tooth, and you play as like a caveman.
Yeah, but the thing about that is it's like, the caveman's a whole new dynamic, because doesn't he use spears and stuff?
Yeah.
He has throwing spears and stuff, which is like a whole new dynamic, I get that, but the thing that was cool about Shangri-La was the sheer just ridiculousness of it. Like, you could fly, you couldn't take fall damage,
Yeah.
you were shooting 6 arrows at once. I mean, it's stuff like that. It's just made it so much fun. But I'm
Same thing with
interested.
like Blood Dragon was just
Yeah.
over the top. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It had one-liners. It had
Oh,
references
it's the
everywhere.
story that made me laugh.
It was great. It was absolutely great, and the voice acting was great.
Yeah.
I want another Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I saw the announcement about the new Far Cry. I'm sure it'll be good. Absolutely.
But you were
But
excited
after
for
Far
another
Far
Blood
Cry
Dragon.
4 has left a very bitter taste in my mouth.
Yep,
I
same.
want something. I want something fun and ridiculous. I don't want this bogged down rubbish. I'm bored
Yeah.
of Assassin's Creed. I'm bored of
Yeah.
Far Cry now, which is a real shame because it's not
Mm-hmm.
a badly made game, especially on a technical level.
They just don't know what to do with it, I think.
Yeah, it just teeters off and it goes off at this weird tangent. I'm pretty sure they've just brought this out to go, oh, you know what, guys? Riding elephants was fun. How about a mammoth?
Yeah.
We've got to have money.
Well, it makes sense actually, because that is literally what the developers behind Assassin's Creed are doing. They're just kind of going, "Oh, well, we did it in Israel last time. Let's try
Yeah.
it in Britain." And so
that
it's like
is
what Far
so
Cry's doing.
annoying. Like,
Far Cry's done the exact same thing. It's like, "Oh, well, we've already done desert. Let's do
Yeah.
jungle."
like Assassin's Creed kind of started off by switching up every installment. They would change like the main character in a way. Obviously they kept Ezio for a while, but it was a case of like, and the two characters had like very differing stances on the order and everything. So like, Altair is all about the knowledge and the nobility, whereas Ezio's kind of a bit more laid back, isn't he? He's more like, I know I'm a badass, I'm not afraid to flaunt it. Whereas Altair is really like humble, and it was like, that's cool. And then Connor comes out and he's all out for revenge and all this shit. And now they're just like, here's just a placeholder character that's the same as every other character so far, but we're going to put them somewhere different geographically. How exciting is that? Yeah? We're going to take the meshes from Rome and just paint a fucking clock on it. Boom, Big Ben. Run up that shit. It's like...
Some chimney smoke.
Yeah. I'll only like Assassin's Creed Syndicate if it's a hilarious, stereotypically Cockney environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Governor.
Well,
I want them all to be terribly
Shine your
voiced
blades,
as well.
Governor.
Well, then again, because I really like the film Gangs of New York, which kind of has that feeling towards it. Like with the whole top hats and, you know, like kind of gothic-y, you know, like downtrodden setting. And so it kind of makes me hope that there's going to be a little bit of that, you know, feeling.
Go
of,
that
like,
style. That would be so good, but they won't because Ubisoft are goths.
No,
they're like grunge.
To be fair, the new one looks like Ubisoft just went, right, we need a new Assassin's Creed, and I've just finished watching Guy Ritchie's version of Sherlock Holmes. Let's just push them together, shall we? And that is exactly what it looks like, even down to the music in the trailer. And
So yeah, if you were going to play Far Cry 4, my suggestion is when he tells you to sit and enjoy your food, just leave it. Finish the game in 14 minutes or whatever it is, and just be done with it. Yep. Then you can go on and say, I finished Far Cry 4, but you don't have to go through the heartache of the shitty, placid story. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Yeah, loads of really awesome stuff. DLC, things to possibly look forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward to Far Cry Primal. Anyone else? Quick little note before we jump off.
No.
Basically, the conclusion to this topic is stay away from MGO, stay away from Ubisoft, stay away from WB, and look forward to potentially a really good piece of Far Cry DLC. But viewers, comment section below, let us know what kind of DLC are you looking forward to? Anything you're playing at the moment that you highly recommend? We would love to know. Next topic, though. That's gonna be my thing. Next topic.
Just scream that. That's not a smooth segue at all, but whatever.
Something that Adam actually brought up again, and kind of reminded me of this again, is Star Citizen's little incident
versus the Escapist.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I feel
Adam,
like
if you could explain this quickly, just sum it up.
The actual thing itself probably isn't overly interesting, but I feel like it might spark some interesting discussion. Basically, Star Citizen has gone into like a headlong war with the Escapists, because the Escapists released an article saying, oh, we've got interviews from loads of current and past employees at Cloud Imperium Games and all this, and they basically just list off like a page's worth of just people saying, so everyone at Cloud Imperium Games is racist, fascist, they're all dictators, and the workplace is like just as bad as Konami. It's like a concentration camp. Yeah. And they just released this, and they were like, yeah, it's a shit place to be. Screw Cloud Imperium Games. And anyway, Cloud Imperium Games obviously weren't pretty happy about such allegations. Maybe whether they are true or not, we don't know, but we can only go off what the Escapists is telling us. And they said they've gone through the legal means of actually finding these people. Yeah. And basically, they've come back to them and been like, we're not like that at all. You're making it up. And as such, we're going to take you to court if you do not remove the article, or at least amend it to make it sound good, basically. And it was kind of left there for a long time, but I think within the past couple of days, on the 5th of October, on Monday, the Escapists basically said, fuck Cloud Imperium Games, we're leaving the article up and we're going to take them to court. So they're going to court and there's going to be legal action. I think the Escapists obviously on the defence, they're going to try and defend themselves in court. And I don't know whether that can go anywhere. Do Cloud Imperium Games even have a leg to stand on?
Yes and no. Depends whether the stuff is actually true or not.
But how are they
obviously,
gonna know?
obviously, if the sources are wrong and if it's an exaggeration, then it's a defamation of character and it can actually hurt the sales and the ultimate outcome of the game. So they do have that leg to stand on. However, with the amount of people coming forwards and everything else, it seems a bit too too detailed to not be real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's basically just escapists standing up and saying we're defending. We've got the right to our journalistic practices, and we're going to defend those.
But I mean, it seems like media's writing against the escapists. They're saying like, "Oh, they're screwed" in a way. Like it's like every single one is escapists getting sued.
Yeah, they are.
But then they write it as in a way that they're going to lose.
Yeah, and they're like, the escapists is backed into a corner and must fend off Cloud Imperial Games with a shitty stick. It's like, the escapists aren't in that bad of a situation, I don't think. And it's not like they're a small force, the escapists. I'm sure they've got a pretty good legal team behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think Star Citizen will ever come out. Or if it does, it will come out as in, it'll be freeware. It'll just be completely dead by the time it comes out.
Do you think?
I think the amount of money that's gone into it for the project, with figures almost at $100 million US.
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah. You look at companies that take that money and build something huge with it.
Man.
Yeah. When I say it's big, and they've been pissing it away. No business acumen on there by the sounds of it. Obviously, if it's true what they're saying, this is all speculation.
Yeah.
But you look at other things like Elite Dangerous. Now that would probably be the closest thing
so
to this at the moment. It's all right, but
No, Elite Dangerous is sick.
It's managed to get out there
Yeah.
a hell of a lot sooner with a much smaller team.
Yeah.
Way smaller. Star Citizen, they're supposed to have like close to. Maybe I'll get my words out. Close to 300 people working on it from different places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Elite Dangerous, a lot smaller window for the actual release, but they've managed to get it out. Alright, it's early access, but it's ongoing changes. It's huge and everything, and I don't understand what's taking Star Citizen so long.
Is this the game with that spaceship? There's that one spaceship that supposedly you could pay for, and it was like thousands upon thousands of pounds. It was like a red and white spaceship.
Possibly.
It was like race. It was like Rocket Race, red and stuff.
Maybe you could. There's all kind of things, and
That's because they've had iffy stuff going on in the past with like say their funding and things too, like trying to get money out of people. Because originally it was a Kickstarter game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, it seems that a lot of developers that use Kickstarter have been going a bit odd. I mean, little side topic with Kickstarter as well is the developer of, what's that game that everyone went nuts over at Sony's press conference?
Shenmue.
Yeah. I mean, recently
They've just come out and said it's not enough.
Yeah, they've got they had their milestones, and it was
They're
like,
like 10 mil's actually not enough.
Yeah, and now the actual like founder of that has ended up going, I'll set up a PayPal account so you can send me money. It's like, why? It's like, can you be any more unprofessional?
Yeah, well, it's more for the fact that the Star Citizen guys are still taking in and asking for money.
Yeah. Granted, Shenmue didn't get what it asked for, but
It got enough though to have
it only got 6.3 mil. Didn't it?
If you look at the milestones for it, the rest of it was literally pachinko games.
Yeah, it was basically like the rest of it will just the other 4 million is just extras. But
most of that though isn't for the actual game production. That's towards it, and that's to generate enough interest for Sony to actually come into it, which they have agreed on now, so that's fine. Whereas this is it's purely the money for the rest of the game.
And
I'm baffled looking at these numbers though.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something, Tom, because I'm reading here. Someone's done basically a giant summary of it. It says in that it's cost 90 million plus so far.
Yep.
And apparently sources are saying that the company literally has 8 mil left in its account, and that's it. And there's 260 people working on it, and they're burning 3 million a month. So basically, they've got 3 months left until it's fucked beyond all recognition.
Those are some expensive hookers. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I just don't know how it's got into this massive spiral. How has it fucking cost this much?
I mean, when it did its Kickstarter, I assume that it hit its milestone, like it got what it wanted.
Yeah, I thought it did well over, didn't it? Let me have a look.
You know what, I
one
think...
article I'm reading is they supposedly spent 20k on a cappuccino machine.
Oh right, that doesn't even surprise me.
So they're probably just throwing it away on crap.
How much did they ask for?
Yeah, that's a question. Wasn't it 500,000?
It wasn't that. I think that the original Kickstarter ended up getting a few million.
Yeah, 2.1 mil. The original Kickstarter got.
Goodness.
Yeah, and the fact that through other fundraising over the
They've got some on their
4 or 5
website.
years ago now.
Yeah, they've got some on their website. Here you go. So it cost 2.1 mil on the Kickstarter. The funds raised in total listed on their website is 90.4 mil.
Jeebus, that's crazy.
So they've nearly got 100 mil, and they've pissed it all away within a matter of months. That doesn't even.
But the market is going to be saturated before they even begin to start releasing playable stuff. As I said, you got Elite Dangerous, which it's working on an existing brand, but is pretty much what it's like. It's space trucking, you know. You can you can
David Brabham is bear. That dude's
True.
so nice. You met him, didn't you, Tom?
Yes.
He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he was. I met him at EGX last year.
Yeah, that was it.
But yeah, great, absolutely fine. You've got Eve, which is going to be around forever. They've got their own economists working on that. You know, that's this is pretty much
they've got their own
closer version.
They've got
of
their
Eve.
Morpheus game coming out as well.
Valkyrie, that. I had a quick go on an early version of that last year with the Oculus Rift at the time.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good. Very
I suppose
good.
We also forgot, in the topic of the whole them pissing away money, how much money is this? How much are they going to spend on the whole legal side if they're taking escapists to court? And they've only got 8 mil left.
Well, this sounds like a cash grab. This is because they don't have much money left.
You think,
they're going after them because they're trying to get a payout.
But if they don't, that's just going to... Well, they're fucked either way. This is literally their last chance, isn't it, really, to get a bit of cash?
Yeah, and not to be a downer with these types of games, because as I said, Elite Dangerous has been doing absolutely fine. They've generated enough sales just on early access, and when it gets full release, it will come out more. The game's too ambitious.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the business plan properly in place and started changing things here and there. There's another game that's being developed at the moment that I think will go the same way, though it's not a crowdfunded thing. I don't think it's going. It's too ambitious a project, and I don't think it will work. Which is No Man's Sky.
I was waiting for him to say it. I was waiting for someone to bring it up.
I've been waiting to bring this in for a while. They did actually appear on the Colbert.
I watched this.
Stephen Colbert,
and I'm just thinking, it's so far off of being a releasable or playable demo or anything. Why?
Yeah.
Why was he on? It's to generate more interest and buzz. So, Sony. Oh no, it's PS4 and it's going to be on Windows, isn't it? So the company can bring in more backers, more people who are going to sponsor them and going to help them through production. That's what they're doing. They're trying to raise the profile. I think the game's in serious trouble. It's too ambitious for what it actually is.
Is it the Last Guardian of space games, do you think?
Yeah. Like, I really couldn't give less shits about Star Citizen. It's never interested me. But I really hope No Man's Sky comes to fruition. I am a bit doubtful. But I hope it comes to fruition because I thought it was a pretty sweet idea. Well, it's kind of shaky because of... I don't know, did you watch the interview with Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Spore, but
and it's the fact that the guy was like... Stephen Colbert was like, well, it's going to drop soon, obviously, because you're on my show.
Yeah.
Right, or is that a secret? And the guy was like, it's a secret. Right, so you don't know, it's not releasing anytime soon, then is what you mean by that.
That shy cuteness is really starting to piss me off as well. You know, he's like, I'm all shy around people with my game. It's like, we thought that was amazing first time. We really, you know, we wanted to hug you, but now we just want to backhand you in the face and say, give us the game.
I'm all shy about my game. Yeah, that's why you brought it to E3, you pretentious twat. Don't act like you fucking shy.
It's not like he's got a little mascot made of yarn. You know, we can't.
That guy's so cute. Honestly, the Unravel guy.
It's that again, though. Do you think that could be it again, though? It's just
No. That's very different. That's an indie passion project. it's fine. That'll be absolutely Unravel, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be absolutely fine. It's the scope of this. That's
scary.
the problem. It's far too ambitious. You said The Last Guardian earlier. That's not really a scope thing. That's just production hell because he keeps on trying to push it on
But that
tech
could be what this
that doesn't
is.
exist.
Because isn't there there's only 4 or 5 of these guys on No Man's Sky, so they're probably there going, what the hell have we done?
Yeah,
You know?
that's exactly it. The problem is they've come out with too much promise and they've come out and from what I'm looking at, there are 4 programmers.
Yeah.
It's just.
What was there was another game that everyone thought was going to be amazing and it didn't live up to the hype, and everyone waited for it for years, and I can't. I'm so blank at the moment.
There's been quite a few of those. Let me think. Alan Wake.
No. This is recent. There was one where everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna
Destiny."
be shit. Could have been. I don't think it was Destiny. It was something else. But
Destiny was one of them. Because
it was one of them.
I assumed it'd be a completely different game with massive open areas and stuff, rather than what it actually was. I've now grown to accept that and enjoy the game.
Watch Dogs, that was one too.
That's entirely just it's going to be so good, and it's actually just the total opposite. It's dog shit. I hated Watch Dogs.
It's that thing though with Star Citizen where they've spent that much money that with all their backers that have been promised all this stuff, if it does come out and it's complete and utter crap, then I wonder what the backlash is going to be like on that. I mean, you had that thing where wasn't there someone who ended up taking someone to court or a company to court because of they didn't feel like they'd been promised stuff of a product. Just think if all those backers got annoyed and started,
Yeah, that's 990,000 people have funded that 90 million goal.
Yeah.
And that's just on their website. That's 990,000 people that have spent money for no reason. They're not going to get any product at all.
There was actually something recently talk about backing and refunding and stuff. I think it was either in America or Canada. There was a card game that someone had done a Kickstarter for, and they ended up. Someone said, "Oh, it's taking too long. We've not heard anything," and they were ordered to pay every backer I think it was something like $100 or something.
Yeah,
even if you put in $1
$5
or a $5, you'd end up getting a lot more back. And then suddenly the cards games actually started being made. The guy was giving some bullshit reason about it actually happening and not happening. But yeah, every single backer got money back.
Seems to be it is an odd place to be in at the moment, especially with Kickstarter. I have no interest or enthusiasm for that kind of.
No.
It was such a good idea. It was initially such a good idea,
but it's so risky.
Yeah, and it seems that people are just taking advantage of it. They know that they can.
Well, there was that game of I forget the game name. He just flat out fucked off with the money and then deleted he deleted his Kickstarter. He deleted his profile, and then he changed all of his contact details. His website went down, and he just fucked off with all the money. Yeah. It was the guy who was trying to build. I can't remember what it was. Whether it was a Banjo-Kazooie successor. Oh no, that's that. What's that one with the bird and the lizard?
That's doing well though at the moment, isn't it?
That's actually doing really well. Yeah, that's. I don't think there was any.
What's that called?
The bird and the lizard thing.
Bird and the lizard.
No, it's not. No, I know it's not them, but that I was just saying. That's he was building a
lizard squad.
He was building a
the less we say about them, the
better. To a really old N64 title.
Okay.
And he literally just sodded off, and it was okay.
Yeah. Jokes on those people though. It's
don't
put your money.
Trust.
That's what I mean, though. You cannot. I have always never trusted the internet. Never trust the internet with your money with anything these days, especially games. Games is such a really iffy place to do it with.
Ukulele.
That's it. There's that guy who funded potato salad.
That was a good cause though.
And
he got
didn't he get 21 grand or something? And he started what was it called? potato stock or something like that, and it was literally just like Woodstock for potato salad, and he invited like 1,000 people, and they all just turned up in this field. If that guy can go through with his potato salad dream, why can't you make a fucking game?
Yeah, especially with 90 million.
Yeah, you jerk.
You obviously need those coffee machines.
I really need to find out the name of this game now.
There we go. Elite Dangerous, right? Kickstarter, 1.5 million. They have this was 2012, and within 2 years, about a year to 2 years, they had a working model of it out to play. Not 4 years and 100 million later. You're right. They may have got extra backing beyond this, but they're actually utilizing it.
Yeah.
I don't. Regardless of what the Escape is saying, regardless of what they're saying back, the fact is the amount of money that they've had over the last few years, and they're barely even scraping the surface and saying it's going to be 2017 before anything comes to fruition.
Which is just...
It doesn't sound right at all.
Oh dear. Dearie me.
Kickstarter is that thing, isn't it? It's so risky that you just don't even... It's not even worth it.
No. Not at the moment. Not unless they can have some better precaution thing. Can you back out when you fund? Can you just get your refund back?
I doubt it. I've only ever backed one thing on Kickstarter, and that actually happened.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't say, like, say if you got halfway through and thought, this isn't going the way I wanted to, just get your money back.
There must be something.
Because it seems... That's that thing. It's like, if you've got to try and wait until this product either fails or does actually come out with something where they pretend that they promised it, it just seems really sucky because it feels like it will never become what you want it to be unless it is a very, very small project. Video games these days are just... They're way too expensive, and they just require way too much, to go beyond what we... Like, you cannot... Like, say all these little indie developers, they can't make PlayStation 1/2 games now and expect to get loads of funding. And that's what these games are ending up like, I feel.
I mean, that's part of the reason why Kojima is no longer at Konami.
Yeah.
Aside from all the other business decisions by Konami, a lot of it is down to spend.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's like one of those things where how can you trust a developer that's had no experience of anything that much money? They obviously thought to themselves, I know, we've got all this money, let's make a freaking Valve studio with all the nice shit, and then we'll make a game. That's obviously what they've done, and they now have no money. At least Valve started with something, and that's what's happened here. They've ended up just getting really overexcited of their budget and been like, I wonder what we could do. Hookers and coffee machines.
That was it.
You know what?
Number 9.
You've got to keep up staff morale,
By having holidays and giant boats, I assume?
No, coffee and hookers. I mean, what else could you ask for?
If it's real good coffee, it can cost quite a bit. Yeah, that was it. Mighty Number 9. It was a spiritual success of it was coming out as like a 3D Mega Man. The dude just took all of the stretch goals and just fucked off. Never been heard of again. We don't know where he's gone.
What,
you
mean Inafune? For Mighty Number 9?
No. It wasn't the actual.
Oh, okay.
Mighty Number 9. It was like a shitty knockoff version of it.
Oh, I remember this. So he actually buggered off.
Yeah, he just fucking left. What was it? Studio 4 and Concept.
Oh god.
They got 3.8 million, and he left. Straight up left.
I assume he's a wanted man, though.
I would think so. I would hope so.
That's like fraud. Yeah.
Jeez.
Did he end up giving out a product in the end though? Was it like, here you go, and then just
no? There's nothing.
Nothing at all.
Of it. No, the backers have nothing to show for their money.
That's bad. It's funny though that we mention that kind of game because with Mighty Number 9, they actually ended up bringing out, was it Red Ash, another Kickstarter of the other one?
Oh god!
And it's like they haven't even brought out Mighty Number 9, which has now got another delay until I think it's next year. And they're now going, we want more money!
Have you seen they had 2 Kickstarters at the same time for Red Ash? One was for the game and the other one was for an anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had two guys. Yeah.
And they're like,
Ridiculous.
yes, all of our designs are so good that we've got an anime. Come on, give us money to make an anime. We can
Please.
force you to like these characters.
Probably
It's
gonna be like
fine.
Sonic Boom or something.
Stop bringing
Which
up
I've heard
Sonic
is
Boom.
I've heard is actually all right. The show, not the game.
Yeah, the show's supposed to be
I was
alright.
gonna say the game is fucking terrible.
I think we should put that to bed.
Yeah,
for
we'll
the
put it. I was about
moment.
to say, we'll give that some rest now. But basically, stay away from Kickstarter, everyone. But comment section below, let us know as usual. What do you think to the Star Citizen debacle? Are you on the side of Escapist, or are you on the side of
Cloud Imperium Games.
I was going to say Star Citizen people.
or
I knew you were. That's why I stepped in.
The con men and women.
or are you just like us? We couldn't give a crap because we want to play games that are actually fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that.
exactly. And games that are actually finished and don't cost 90 million for
We
nothing.
don't want to play Funding Simulator. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We're all good.
that game's very expensive.
But on a more awesome note, we're going to talk about more video game centric topic. And this one's going to be really, really exciting because I'm still trying to think of some. And I can't, so I'm going to leave it till the end for me. But best and worst video game bosses of all time so far.
Yesums.
Tom, you brought this topic. I assume you got some awesome ones to start with.
I do indeed. I'm going to go for a bad one to start with.
Oh, here we go.
Just to throw that out there.
Negativity.
Now, a lot of this can go across the genre for a lot of them. Fighting games. A lot of the time, it's loosely thrown together stories, but there's one in particular that's just always really pissed me off, and that's Dead or Alive 2.
Okay.
The reason for that, the whole way through, you've just got these little story segments where you're suddenly fighting someone. There's a tiny little cutscene of about 10 seconds, like, oh, you killed my father, oh, you did this, oh, you did that. And then you go through all these fights, nothing is actually strung together properly, and at the very end you just hear this, everything was my creation. And this guy called Tengu comes out. I think he's based on Japanese myth.
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
he's like some kind of weird straw-bearded Pinocchio midget with wings, some kind of feather fan on clogs.
Yeah, they're them really high ones, aren't
Yeah,
they? With like,
yeah.
And he's still about 2 feet shorter than you. And I was I don't understand this. He's a bloody prick as well because he's in like any video game fighting game end boss. He's OP'd and you've really got to work at it. But aside
it's
from, I'm
just
just like it came out of nowhere. This guy hasn't been in any of it. I have no reason to hate this guy or like this guy, apart from the fact that everything is his creation. What does that mean? And then there was just no, you beat him and that's it. Happy days, whoop-de-doo.
He was in Dead or Alive 2
Helena is
Ultimate.
going off to sing at the opera or something. I don't know.
he was in Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, and he was made of like stone or something. Like it was everything you've described, like the feather fan, the wings, the clogs, except he was like made of this like grey metal. And he's
Honestly,
like,
it's-
humans are so easily breakable. What are you then? You look like a human.
It's like someone played Pin the Tail on the Donkey, but they just grabbed random shapes, slapped them on the board and went, you know what, that'll
design
fucking
is
do.
hideous.
It's honestly, it's like something I'd come up with as a child in a doodle. No offense if this is actually, because I know that he's supposed to be loosely based on a
he is
mythological
based on-
creature from Japanese folklore, but at the end of the day, yeah, it just looks ridiculous. It doesn't work. It doesn't.
Was he fun to fight, at least?
It was all right. It was a bit weird. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, the guy from Japanese myth is like some weird big-nosed bird man
Yeah.
with the samurai skills. He also doesn't wear clogs, he wears flip-flops. Just
The only thing I can remember from Tengu was Tenchu, where you actually fought Tengus and they had those masks. But
Yeah.
I always assumed that Tengus were like ninjas in.
They
those
are.
weird masks.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not some estranged old man that looks like that drunk one from Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, you know what? That's absolute BS. Sorry, I just had to look this up. They've got his height down as 7'1". That's nonsense. How tall are the normal characters? Are they like 10 feet or something?
It's because of these cloggy things, that's why.
Yeah,
Well,
he's normally 4 foot, but he stood on just like chopping boards. And
I don't include my shoes when I'm measuring my height. Why should he? He's a
basically
deity.
He basically drop kicked a bench, and he's just wearing his footwear.
And everything that's just stuck in his feet is just, these will be my new shoes.
But how would you redeem it? What about a good boss? I mean, that is an ugly ass boss, but I mean, one that has many redeeming qualities.
Okay, this is interesting because he's good for the same reason that Tengu is bad. Now, Tengu came out of nowhere. It's suddenly like, oh, here's the final boss. He's only been mentioned maybe once or twice, if that. He just suddenly appears as a bit of a weird curveball, and then he's got magic. He's a magic being. Senator Stephen Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising.
Why did I know he was going to mention that? I was literally going to say, do not dare mention Nanomachine.
You've just stolen Josh's idea.
God damn it.
No, it's about the whole way through. You've got these really eccentric great villains in Metal Gear Rising. You've got all of them, and then you fight Jetstream Sam.
Oh, he was so
he's
good.
He's been the one, he cuts off your limbs, he does everything else. He's pretty much played the main antagonist. He's great, he's charming, he's charismatic. You kind of root a bit for him as well, which is why playing the DLC is really fun to do as him. And then it's like, after that, you're still playing. Okay, what am I doing? Why the game's over, and then suddenly he comes out, the senator they've spoken to a couple of times through the actual thing, and he's like, Nanomachine, son, and he turns into this big metal hunking thing. And the music, now the main thing that makes this boss fight for me is the music.
Oh, it was a good soundtrack for that fight.
Yeah,
it's where it's playing this it's not quite like J-pop as such. It's
kind of like
because it is actually sung by an American.
It's like Americanized J-pop, I'd say.
Yeah, it's that same kind of rhythm and that, but it's got such a wicked, like, heavy beat, and it's one of these things. I just felt so pumped to play it. There's not many games that really make me feel excited where the music actually adds to the adrenaline in the scene, but this is one of them, and I love it. I just absolutely love the whole feeling about it, the different states of the actual bit as well, from like. From dodging him around with all the lava and stuff that he's shooting up when he's throwing the vehicles, even the little quick time bits here and there in the middle. It's a difficult boss as well, and it's a real challenge, and you just feel so accomplished after beating him. I would probably say, out of the whole Metal Gear universe, probably not even probably, my favourite and the best boss out of the Metal Gear franchise.
I think Jetstream Sam was really good, but with the Senator as well, I thought Jetstream Sam's boss fight against the Senator was probably better than Raiden's. Yeah. It was just so much more epic. You still had that same soundtrack, but you had... This is the thing, because Jetstream Sam has the dodge roll, and the dodge roll, when you're like actually like toe-to-toe stalemate against the Senator on that fight, you're just like cartwheeling around him when he's doing all those like mega moves, and you're doing the deflections. It was so good. I remember like being on the edge of my seat when fighting the Senator as Jetstream Sam, while I was kind of annoyed after fighting the Metal Gear when then going against the Senator, because I was like, because I hated the Metal Gear bit, and then having to fight him, I was like, okay, this is alright, but just having Jetstream versus Senator, and it was even harder. That was the thing too, the Jetstream version is a lot harder too, even though you do have that awesome dodge roll, but he is a fantastic fight. I mean, we've just got to give him that. We've all played the DLCs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, on a round thing, like a round table of going round, I vote Jetstream Sam vs Senator. Next.
I vote Jetstream Sam vs Senator.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, I'll go for Jetstream.
Yay!
But still
Still.
the same boss. Regardless of who we're playing as, the same boss.
Also, he kind of looks like a jacked version of Kevin James.
He does!
Any chance I get to beat the shit out of Kevin James is good for me, I tell you.
It would be better if you just showed up on one of those little two-wheely...
On a Segway, just fall flat.
Nanomachine, son!
What, kind of like Jeff Bridges in Iron Man?
Yeah!
Yeah, you know what? That could have worked really well.
That's basically who that guy is. He's just Jeff Bridges from Iron Man, but more Kevin Jamesy.
I've just gone onto the Wikipedia, eye colour, grey, and then in brackets, sometimes glowing red in 2018 due to nanomachines.
Oh my goodness. But Adam, what about you? Worst, or are you going to go with the best at first?
I'm going to go worst first.
Okay.
You might know where I'm going with this. It's from Borderlands.
Trim roll.
And it's the Destroyer at the end.
Oh, God, the first one, where it's like,
That
here's this massive build-up.
Shit.
You mean
And
the
he
fridge
doesn't even
squid?
move. Yeah, the fridge squid. He's just like stuck in the vault door, like, and you just like pinging the shit out of him, and there's playing this music like dun dun dun, like proper badass, and you're like, how am I supposed to get pumped for this?
He's just a giant eyeball.
I'm just
with arms.
throwing pellets at this
It's literally
giant
Krang.
turd.
It's just Krang after loads of roid.
Yeah, and it's
They
like,
pretty much tried to make, like, shoveling the lawn after it's
Yeah.
been snowing exciting. It's like
Yeah.
weeding.
and it's just the worst. It's like, this boss doesn't even do anything. It barely
Yeah.
fights back. And some of the Borderlands boss fights were cool as shit.
Yeah.
I can't even remember half of them.
And then to get to this vault and
Yeah.
to basically find what is a giant meat sack stuck in the fucking door because it's too fat. That's the equivalent of your head teacher coming out to discipline you and getting stuck in the doorway.
Yeah.
And then you just spitballing it. Just
At least they learned
cease
from
at once, I say.
at least they learned from their mistakes with the second one and gave it a charismatic villain to
Yeah.
fight.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah, Handsome Jack was amazing.
Because what is the Destroyer? Like, they barely even mention it. They're just like, there's going to be something behind the vault door, so just be
Yeah.
aware. I didn't expect Meatwad, I'm going to be honest.
Well, because they did that whole thing where it was going to be like, there's mountains upon mountains of guns. And it was like, but we'll give you one after you beat it.
Yeah.
It's like, it was nothing. It was just rubbish.
But you
I
can
agree,
just pick up that orange level sniper in that level.
Yep.
If you take a right off the beaten pack, and it basically is just like a 5-shot kill on the Destroyer because it's so overpowered. It's like, well, that was boring.
No, I mean, especially
yeah.
since that game requires at least around 20 hours of dedication. And
To then have that.
And you are playing as Vault Hunters. So the entire point of the game is to get to that, and it's just this really crap conclusion. It doesn't even have a conclusion, did it? It didn't even really have an ending after you beat the boss.
No, it was kind of like, it all like simmered down. It was like, GG. And you're like,
GG, guys.
what? The other game's just like, GG, do you want to play again? No!
Oh, New Game Plus, bruh.
New Game Plus Blast so I can kill that thing faster. Fucking hell. Yeah,
what
that
about
boss
what about the
battle was
ones? So
shit.
you've got Borderlands 2 where you had Handsome Jack. What about was it the pre-sequel? Did that have a good one?
Never
Didn't
got
even
around to playing
never
it.
played the pre-sequel.
Because I've got it. I just haven't. Again, I haven't got around to playing it. Makes me
No,
curious.
never played the pre-sequel. I can Google it. And I will.
You need to tell us your best one now as well. To make up for this travesty of a
I have
squid.
two.
Okay.
But I don't know which one to say.
Well, you can pick both if you want to go both. More content.
Okay.
Is
One
one
of
of them is one of them a giant robot made up of dead people by some chance?
What? No, I'm not picking the Reaper. If that's what you're going for.
That was
Is that what
crap.
you're going
That
for,
thing was
Tom?
rubbish.
Yeah, I think it was shit.
I cringe fight. It was just a
Is
giant
that what you were going
robo-fetus.
for,
Maybe.
Tom? You were? What, the Reaper that's like a giant skeleton and you literally just detach it and it falls?
Yeah, I assume that's what you. I assumed you go for the ME2 one.
No,
That was literally the only
none
disappointing
of my
thing about
choices are
ME2.
from Mass Effect at all, surprisingly enough.
Whoa.
Ah.
One of them's from Shadow of the Colossus, which is a bit of a cheat because they're all bosses. It's entirely a boss
Yeah.
battle. But my favourite Colossus is Phalanx, the giant, like, it's the biggest Colossus. It's the one in the
Nice.
middle of the sand. And it doesn't actually, it's docile, it doesn't attack Wander at all. It just kind of floats around in its little gas sacks and steers itself with its wings. And you horribly shoot it down, climb atop it and stab it in the brain. But it's technically by length the biggest Colossus in the game. So it's and when you arrive and it just smashes out of the sand, it's just one of like the most epic moments ever. It's just the sheer scale of it.
Yeah.
That and Arkham Asylum Scarecrow's fight, which was
Yeah, that was good the
Baller.
first time around. No, I
yeah, the
agree.
first time around. It's not a boss battle you can replay because the point of it is it's that whole thing. Is my game glitching?
Yeah, that was cool.
And shit like that. It's pretty cool. And when Arkham Asylum did it, it was kind of like one of the first ones, barring like Psycho Mantis changing the brightness on your TV and shit.
And having to plug your controller into the second port.
Barring shit like that, Arkham Asylum, and I really liked Arkham Asylum. And Scarecrow's fight was genuinely harrowing. Like when you're avoiding him as he's like floating around.
So, I think it's quite funny is that they completely pissed on that encounter by with DLC called Nightmare Missions. Basically, in Arkham Knight, you can do that, but in the Batmobile, and you just have to drive through a racetrack and then shoot him with your Batmobile.
Wow.
And they literally took one of the really cool fights out of Arkham Asylum and then did that, and it's like, oh, that could have been really good. And this is what you've done to us. Thanks for spitting on the memory of a really good encounter.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was
Buy a
really
DLC, by the way, because you don't actually face spoilers. You don't actually face Scarecrow whatsoever in Arkham Knight. So if you want to fight him, you have to do it via DLC.
That's bullshit.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
What the fuck?
Is it my go now?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, I suppose so.
I guess. I mean, I'm gonna start with a good one. I mean, all this negativity, I'm gonna try and lighten things up a little bit. Now, to be fair though, I've got so many that I could mention. When you were all talking about yours, I was getting super excited about. I was thinking, I could maybe say this one. I could say this one. Everyone played Vanquish.
Everyone's played Vanquish. Vanquish is fucking amazing.
I have, but I've not finished it yet. It's fine. It's fine. You can spoil it.
I think I know which one you're gonna go for.
It's just because they're. I mean, it's the final boss was really, really cool, but it wasn't the final boss. It was more when you fight him the first time. You know when you like first confront the guy in his robo suit, and then you have your slow-mo battle with him, but then you do that awesome like mega like punching against each other thing. You got to tap square as fast as possible. One of the best quick time events I've ever played. Just like frantically going. Like this wheel, like what would you call it? Windmilling to victory. It's so cool. Was there any more really awesome boss fights? Like there were loads of mini ones. Like there was that really
there was all the like Argus cores that you had to blow up and shit.
Like the one way that you grab the bullet and then you like tornado it back into it was so awesome as well.
Yes. Vanquish was just so badass. Like sliding around and then just like doing a backflip all the while still just shooting is just such a cool thing to do.
There was a really cool thing.
It took cover-based shooting and just did something completely new with it.
Totally. And there was a really cool thing that you could do as well, which I figured out like a year after playing it, is that if you boost into a wall and then do the kick, you can kick off it, and then you could do like a wall run jump and then do your slow-mo shot. It was so cool.
That is sick.
Really, really nice.
I did not know you could do that.
It took me a year.
Vanquish
I did
about 2 times.
I did like
wow.
2 times I did it. I played like 5,000. It was good. It was the challenge modes. I'm still trying to get those challenge modes done. That final one is such a bitch. You know the one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so epic at the same time. But yeah.
Because isn't it what are they called? Burgie Alpha and Burgie Bravo or some shit?
Yeah, that's the boss fight. That's the boss fight I'm talking about.
Yeah, and they're like robot ninjas with guns. They're so cool. They're like, I don't know, they remind me of like Destiny characters.
Yeah,
they're really cool. Like, one's red and one's blue.
What was cool too is that they have those homing shots, kind of like in Zone of the Enders Anubis, where they kind of like it's all like string lasers, and you have to keep doing like the mega like supersonic rolls to kind of dodge them all, and then you have to go and then shoot, then you have to keep doing the roll again. Yeah. So epic. Oh, I loved it.
It was a
I really
boss fight.
I love the platinum stuff at the moment, and I did pick up Vanquish, so I really need to finish that soon.
If you haven't played through it, you really need to, because it gets so good. And if you haven't fought Burgie Alpha and Burgie Bravo, prepare yourself for that one.
So epic.
Well, at least I know what I should try and get up on my channel then.
Get some Vanquish up. Second one, and my worst, funnily enough, is another fighting game boss. And I've mentioned this before with Mortal Kombat. It's number 9. Shao Kahn is a giant asshole, and it took me 6 hours to beat him.
Well, that does not make him a bad boss.
What makes him poorly
designed is the fact that Wrecking whilst AA meeting. You're not a bad guy.
He doesn't telegraph. There are unavoidable moves, and there are combo strings you can put together, which he can immediately stop.
Yeah, he has
and
super
literally
armor.
Just glow green, and he's like, okay, now I don't get knocked back. Here's a hammer to the shins. Like, that is just such a false way of increasing difficulty. Like, really good players could literally destroy someone in one smooth combo just by juggling. You can't do that on Shao Kahn because he's like, no, I'm sick of being juggled now. Green mode, hammer, green mode, spear. And he deals like 4 times the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've just got to do that running leg kick and then get back again and just keep cheesing it.
And also, Mortal Kombat 9 sucks because they took out Liu Kang's bicycle kick noise. You didn't do that anymore.
Maybe that's because they knew we'd have to use it so much.
Yeah. And I don't like how I don't get Liu Kang's voice acting. Like, I know he's based on Bruce Lee, but like, how can he be like, in his normal voice, he's like, we have to save Earthrealm.
And then
he's in the match like, what's up?
Did you have to beat him with Raiden, though?
No, Liu Kang you have to beat Shao Kahn with.
Oh, do you? Okay, I've literally
you
blocked it out of my mind.
You just jam the bicycle kick and the flying kick.
Yeah.
He was a butthole. It was just that whole thing of that you've played against all these different characters, you know, through the story, and then he comes along and just breaks the gameplay mechanics to become a challenge.
Yeah, just for the sake of he's harder because he has more health and he does more damage.
I remember hating, like, I loved Mortal Kombat 9 until I fought him. I thought, oh, this is a really good game. I love the story. I love the fact, like, just the cinematic encounters and everything like that.
I was a bit pissed off, though, in the story that you don't get to fatality anyone. Like, that's the... I know it is kind of, you can't rip Katana in half because she needs to come back later. But, like, that's the whole point of Mortal Kombat. It's the final... moment where you just get to rip a woman's spine out or a man's spine out and hit them in the chest with it. It's like, that is what you play Mortal Kombat for, but you didn't get to fatality anyone in the story, which is a bit disappointing.
It'd been cool if they had like that cinematic thing where if the character was going to die and then you get to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, if this is like one of these little story moments where, say, Melina is going to get taken out of the story full on, then let the player do it.
Let the player cast her in twain.
Same with Shao Kahn.
And then just have a cutscene that comes straight afterwards of like someone crying over their remains or something. I don't know.
A little bit dark.
You're talking about ripping her spine out. How is crying over someone dark?
Actually,
that's really grim.
I'm talking about ripping her spine.
Yeah,
out. I never said it was dark.
Very good point. Very good point.
But yeah, so Shao Kahn, giant butthole. But one thing we should probably do, just to finish things off, is go for another... Should we call these what should we call this? Like a hot seat or something? Basically, just go around as fast as possible and just mention some really badass ones. Or some really bad ones.
Actually, I've got a... All right, well, calm down. A couple of bad ones, actually. 2 for the same reason. Now, one of them is the very, very, very end of Gears of War 2. And you guys know how much I love the Gears franchise.
I hate Gears.
1 through 3, not judgment. Yeah, all right. But you had the boss fight where you were in the bit and the chandeliers and stuff fall down, and then you end up flying on the back of the flying, and then you've got that pretty cool scene, which is essentially like you being on a jet speed from a speeder bike from Endor. You know, it's pretty much like that. And then you fight in the air, and then you've got the whole on ground section again.
Oh, it was rubbish.
The very, very end, you're riding on a Brumac and you're mowing people down. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. The music's kicking in. You've got the excellent score coming in as well. It's really great. And it gets to the end, it's like, oh, by the way, this thing has turned lambent. It's giant.
Yeah.
Here, have a Hammer of Dawn. Have a Hammer of Dawn. You're going to sit on a chopper. You're going to aim at it twice, and it's going to go into a cutscene. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, really, really, really disappointing ending after a really good campaign.
One thing,
similar thing.
Yeah.
No, carry on.
No. I was gonna do mine, but go on if you got some more to say about it. Then.
I was gonna say another one which I think we're all in agreement on here. The very end of Shadow of Mordor. We all love that game. It's great. It's excellent. It's one of the best movie tie-ins ever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 2 final bosses, technically I'm including, one for the last bit. Now, you got that final boss, which was the Black Hand, which was just,
shit,
jumping out occasionally and going, boo, Mario! And then the very end, where it was like, oh, you've got a quick time event against Sauron. By the way, if you want to carry on, buy the DLC. So it was just about, got to the very end, and the climax is like, oh, you press like 3 buttons, and that's it, and he's banished somewhere. So I don't like games that finish on if it's a boss fight that I've actually fought,
Yeah.
and then there's a QTE to finish it off, I'm pleased with that because I've put in the effort. Not here's the last bit, press some buttons, there you go, done.
That's a good one to mention, actually, because one that you could see is like the flip side that is actually good, where you actually have to fight to get that quick time event where you feel like you've deserved it, is Zeus in God of War 2.
Yeah.
That was a badass fight. I'm sure you had to like go through 2 stages of him, and then you get to like gut him with his own sword, and actually like push it right in. You know, it's like you're literally sexually penetrating him with a giant ass blade. It's just such a good fight. I just thought of it now. Well, saying that though, a lot of the God of War boss fights are really good. I remember just being so satisfied.
Don't steal mine.
Was it yours? The God of War? Oh no, go on. What was yours?
I was gonna say Kronos from God of War.
Kronos, yes, Kronos. That was awesome.
Yeah, Kronos was excellent.
It's the bit where you peel his fingernail off. It freaks me.
Oh yeah, it's so weird.
No.
It makes me cringe. Just
I'm flexing my fingers at the moment.
It's like, have you ever seen that film Teeth?
What? Hold up. How do you compare fingernails coming off to
someone
having teeth?
No, because it's that same thing where you kind of have that instinctive reaction of going no, you know. So like,
I think that's a bit more extreme.
I see the same thing because like I don't want to lose my fingernails, but at the same time I don't want to lose my dinky. So...
Yeah, he's got a point.
I know which one I'd rather lose.
Your dinky.
Yeah.
I've slammed my finger in a car door before and lost a fingernail.
Oh, don't talk about it anymore. Come on, Tom. We need another one quickly.
You need another one?
Let's do two all the way around.
Two
good
all
or
the way
bad?
around. I suppose I should go for some good ones then.
Yeah, go for a good one.
Are there any good ones left?
There are loads of good ones left. Come on.
There's no good ones left. What are you on about? That's everything all done forever. Come back to me.
I've actually got a surprising one. Should I go first while you think of one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One that I actually quite liked was Albert Wesker in Resident Evil 5.
Ah, damn it! That was going to be my other one. Not Albert Wesker actually. But yeah, no, I completely agree. From the beginning bit where you're fighting him in the hangar, he's doing all those moves and flying around, and then you get onto the plane, and then you get to the volcano, and it's Chris punching boulders,
which is amazing. It's a boulder.
It kind of that game had to be outlandish because they had to finish off Wesker. That was the send off. That was the idea behind it all. But for me, actually, one of my...
Oh, go on.
No, carry on.
Well, the bit that I loved was where... And it's kind of that weird thing where it literally is just like a button, but when you have to finish him off with the rocket launcher with one shot, it's just... Because it is the legit death of him, it is one of those CSI moments where you have to one-liner it when you kill him. So he's like, Chris, I'm telling you, and you're just like, not today! And then you just fire the rocket and finish him off. So every single time you have to say just like some kind of awesome one-line when you finish him. So cool. I think that's one of the things that just topped it for me.
I was actually going to go for Nemesis.
Ooh.
Nemesis, I mean, throughout the whole thing, you can face him multiple times, and if you do, you end up getting upgrade parts for stronger weapons and things, which is really good. He's so difficult to... Even like at the very beginning.
Do you mean the actual... Which encounter, though? Because there's one... His last encounter I didn't really like.
I really like the last encounter. It's not as tense because there's the one before it. So you've got the final fight, or what should be the final fight, where you've got the acid showers and things, and you can turn them on and damage him that way, and you're in that little room. And then you get round to the part where he mutates, and it's just a little attention to detail. So he absorbs what is left of Mr. X from the Resident Evil 2 encounter. So he's there, like spread out against the wall and that. It was just, the whole thing was just terrifying, trying to get away from him and turning on that blooming laser drill. Don't even know where that came from. But it was a really kind of heart-pounding experience, and it's one that will stay with me for a long time. I really, really enjoyed that. There's not really been many Resident Evil fights that have come up to that level of tension. There's been a lot of fun ones, like the recent ones, especially in Resi 5. There are quite a few really fun ones, as outlandish and ridiculous as they are. Even down to where you're out on that little cliffside on the desert, and you've got that giant bug lava thing that's crawling around and chucking stuff at you. That was a good fight. It's just it's not Resident Evil anymore. It's back to that old chestnut. But yeah, I absolutely going back to it. In fact, Mr. X as well. It's Nemesis and Mr. X, both together.
You've had two at the
Excellent.
same time each time. Just cheating.
And
Greedy bastard.
you could do the same.
Adam! Yours.
Yes. Okay. I wish I could count the whole final level of Blood Dragon as a boss battle, because that is one of the greatest experiences of your life. You're going through this laser disc, you think nothing can get better than this, and then all these like rainbow lights come up and you get to ride a fucking dragon with a turret on its back, and you're like, oh yeah, it can get better.
I need to finish this game. I only played so much.
You really do.
You want the ending is the best ending out of any game ever.
In any game ever. But I can't count that, so instead I'm going to go for a terrible boss battle, the final boss of Fallout 3. Where he suffocates your dad, and he's like, what are you going to do about it? He's just blow his head off. It's like, I was really high level, I was thinking I was over leveled for this shit. Because that dude just died in one shotgun blast.
I think I did the same thing.
Same thing happened to me in Skyrim with Alduin.
Alduin's a shit boss battle, actually. There you go, there's another one.
Oh, poor Skyrim.
Skyrim's just got a shit ending. Thanks.
Poor Bethesda.
Where are you all going? I need your souls.
Just picturing someone saying that. That is fantastic.
Where are you going? I need friends.
Come back.
Should we do some quick fire ones as well? Because I mean, we've had our.
That was quick fire.
No, we've had these were like descriptive. Just quick names. Just drop names this time. Like
I don't have any more.
You must have some. Come on.
No.
No.
I literally have no more.
Bad one. Joker from Arkham Asylum.
Oh, that is a shit one.
Move on.
Yeah, it was pretty shit.
Come on.
No, I won't.
Good
won't.
one. Good one.
Okay.
Good one. Pyramid Head, Silent Hill 2.
All right, bad one. Virgil DMC.
Oh yeah, he was shit.
Yeah.
I don't have any more. I just told you this.
Oh my god. Come on.
You don't want to throw in some bad Mass Effect ones?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, any boss battle in Mass Effect, terrible. Go.
343 Guilty Spark.
Oh
Halo 3.
no, that was a bad one.
I love that character. He's my favorite character.
He's a good character.
He just
but that boss
fangirl
fight
jizzed all
is
over the
terrible. It's like suddenly, he shoots the sergeant, and then he's like, oh, now he's dead, and that's it.
Yeah. Ooh, Ornstein and Smaug.
Oh, if we're gonna go on to those ones, basically every single boss fight in Bloodborne
Okay.
were badass. Take that. I mean, did you see that giant werewolf goat thing that you have to fight on the bridge? It's like
Yes.
That giant werewolf goat thing.
and it has like the quagmire arm where it's been fapping like way too much. That was so epic. But yeah,
It's like a charger. I Left 4 Dead.
go on.
I'm going to just throw one more in there, just one last one.
Yep.
Metal Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh, but whoa.
Sonic
Oh.
2.
Which side of the coin are you on?
What do you mean, which side of the coin am I on?
Good or bad?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good. Very good. Still
Some
difficult.
people probably think it's terrible. You got to remember this. Not everyone agrees on everything.
I don't agree.
Guarantee someone hates the Metal Sonic battle.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Terrible one. Deathstroke from Batman Arkham Origins. Right, okay. We can
I like that one. That was like the best fight.
yeah, but the best thing in Arkham Origins is the shittest thing in everything else. Let's be honest.
I really, really like the Deathstroke fight.
I
How dare you?
didn't.
You've hurt my
See?
feelings.
See, there you go.
I was gonna name my son after you.
No, you weren't. And you'll never have a son. No one loves you.
Yeah, but thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a really, really awesome one as usual. Any more villains that we'd like? No? But comment section below, let us know what was your favourite boss of all time or worst. We would love, love, love to know. But it's been me, Josh, and Adam, and that other guy. I can't remember what his name was. What's his name?
I think he's called Tom,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know.
Probably one of the
He's
worst.
busy sorting out the fucking bins. That's why he's not here.
Have you got a chair noise for us today? Any chair noises?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that would be so good.
I WD-40'd it.
Oh,
And now you can't
no.
go. You can't go. It's good to have land.
It's good to have land.
But either way, everyone, thanks again. This has been Free Gamers and a Mic, and we will see you all next time. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.